Good evening and welcome to Global Military Hub. I'm Adrian Walden. Tonight we take a measured, in-depth look at the major joint U.S.-Israeli military operation against Iran that unfolded on February 28, 2026. This event has drawn global attention due to its scale, the targeting of high-level Iranian leadership, and the still unresolved question surrounding Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. We'll walk through the confirmed facts, official positions from all sides, strategic context, and what remains unclear as of early March 1st, 2026. The operation began with coordinated airstrikes across Iran, focusing on military and strategic assets. Targets included air defense systems, missile production and storage sites, Revolutionary Guard command centers, and facilities linked to Iran's nuclear program. Satellite imagery from multiple independent sources has verified extensive physical damage at key locations, particularly a compound in Tehran associated with Khamenei. Before and after images show buildings blackened, reduced to rubble in places, with visible debris fields and lingering smoke. Iranian authorities reported that strikes affected at least 24 of the country's 31 provinces, with the Red Crescent citing at least 201 fatalities and hundreds wounded nationwide. Iran responded with ballistic missile launches directed at Israeli territory and U.S. military positions in Gulf countries. Defensive systems, including those in Israel, intercepted a significant portion of these projectiles, limiting reported damage on the receiving end. Concurrently, Iran enforced a near-total nationwide internet blackout, restricting information flow to satellite-based services like Starlink, limited VPN usage, or proxy connections. This blackout echoes previous instances during periods of heightened tension or domestic unrest, and no official explanation has been provided for the current measure. At the heart of the discussion is the fate of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iran's supreme leader since 1989, and the central figure in the Islamic Republic's political and military structure. At 86 years old, he has shaped Iran's policies for decades, commanding the Revolutionary Guard Corps, National Police, Basiji militia, and ultimate authority over key state decisions. Israeli officials have asserted that Khamenei was killed in strikes on his Tehran compound. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in a televised national address on February 28th, described growing indications, growing signs, many signs, and more signs that Khamenei was gone, no longer with us, or eliminated. He characterized the compound as obliterated and stated that the operation would continue as required. Multiple Israeli media outlets, citing senior officials, reported that Khamenei's body was recovered from the rubble, with some claiming visual documentation was presented to Netanyahu. The Israeli Defense Forces publicly confirmed the elimination of several senior defense figures in what they called the opening salvo, naming Ali Shamkhani, Security Affairs Advisor, Mohammad Pakpour, IRGC Commander, Aziz Nasserzadeh, Defense Minister, and additional unnamed personnel in related statements. Broader Israeli assessments have referenced up to 40 regime figures impacted in the Tehran phase alone. From the U.S. perspective, President Donald Trump addressed the matter in phone interviews with networks including ABC and NBC on the same day. He stated that he believes Khamenei is dead, describing the reports as feeling correct, certain, and accurate. Trump indicated that a large number, 5 to 10 or more, of Iran's top decision-makers and leadership were removed across multiple strike sites. He characterized the U.S. component as already a success, and noted that intelligence provides visibility into potential next figures in Iran's hierarchy, though no specifics were shared. The White House separately confirmed Trump's consultations with leaders from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, UK, Kuwait, Turkey, and NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, signaling efforts to align regional and alliance responses. U.S. officials briefed that the strikes were preemptive, driven by concerns over Iran's missile output, estimated at up to 100 units per month, and apparent rebuilding of nuclear manufacturing capacity previously damaged in the 2025 Operation Midnight Hammer targeting sites like Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. Iranian authorities have consistently rejected these claims. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, in statements including to NBC News, affirmed that Khamenei is alive as far as I know. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmail Baghai told multiple outlets that both Khamenei and President Masoud Pezeshkian remain safe and sound. A public relations official from Khamenei's office, Sayed Mehrdad Sayed Mahdi, via the semi-official ISNA agency, described the opposing narratives as psychological warfare and called for caution. Sources close to the office further stated that Khamenei is steadfast and firmly commanding the field. Iranian media has not acknowledged the reported losses among named defense officials or broader leadership disruptions. This creates a fundamental contradiction. U.S. and Israeli sources, drawing from intelligence and strike assessments, maintain that a significant decapitation occurred, including Khamenei. Iranian channels uniformly assert continuity of command and survival of key figures without conceding any high-level casualties. No independent, neutral verification, such as visual evidence released by Iran, third-party observers, or unclassified imagery beyond satellite views of damage, has bridged this gap. The internet restrictions and restricted access inside Iran further limit on-the-ground confirmation. Geographically, Tehran was the focal point, with strikes documented near Khamenei's residence, office complex, adjacent government ministries, defense, intelligence, the Atomic Energy Organization headquarters, presidential areas, National Security Council facilities, and the Parchin military site southeast of the capital. The campaign extended beyond the capital to multiple cities and provinces, indicating a nationwide effort to degrade military sustainment. Iranian retaliatory missiles targeted Israeli population centers and military zones, with intercepts noted over regions including the Galilee and Jerusalem, as well as toward U.S. bases in the Gulf. Strategically, this operation reflects a calculated escalation under the current U.S. administration. It builds on prior policies of maximum pressure, including sanctions and targeted actions like the 2020 Soleimani strike, but represents a broader direct engagement. If the leadership losses claimed by the U.S. and Israel are accurate, it could disrupt Iran's centralized decision-making, weaken coordination of proxy forces in Gaza, Yemen, Lebanon, and Iraq, and create openings for internal instability, particularly given recent protests starting in late December. Khamenei's role has long unified ideological, military, and security apparatuses. Any succession process, historically speculated to involve figures like his son Mojtaba, though unformalized, would likely be contentious and potentially fractious. Conversely, if Iranian denials prove correct, the strikes may have inflicted material damage to infrastructure without achieving the intended strategic decapitation. This could bolster regime cohesion in the short term, rally nationalist sentiment, and prompt intensified asymmetric responses through proxies or direct means. The U.S. framing emphasizes prevention of nuclear breakout and missile threats to regional forces, suggesting a window of opportunity amid perceived Iranian vulnerability from internal pressures and recent setbacks. The internet blackout adds another layer, hindering both domestic information flow and external monitoring of regime stability, public reaction, or military reconstitution. Reports of celebrations in some Tehran neighborhoods contrast with official silence, but remain anecdotal amid restricted communications. At Global Military Hub, our approach remains rooted in cross-referenced facts and careful analysis rather than conjecture. This development marks a significant chapter in U.S.-Iran-Israel dynamics, with implications for Gulf security, energy markets, proxy conflicts, and global non-proliferation efforts. The joint nature of the strikes underscores deepened operational alignment between Washington and Jerusalem. We will keep tracking key indicators. Any eventual Iranian official statement or visual proof regarding leadership status, updated satellite assessments of damage, diplomatic signaling from Gulf states and NATO partners, and signs of further military exchanges or de-escalation. Unresolved questions persist around full casualty verification, precise nuclear setbacks, exact division of U.S.-Israeli strike responsibilities, and potential leadership transition mechanisms. Thank you for spending this time with us on Global Military Hub. I'm Adrian Walden. Stay tuned for updates as this situation evolves. Good night.